In this episode, we will be growing cilantro microgreens in a small stainless steel sprouter. I have mixed a bowl of 75% coconut coir and 25% earthworm castings, and that will be my growing medium. We don't soak cilantro. Something about the seed, it is actually called coriander in its seed stage, and a coriander seed is a round seed with, a round pod with multiple seeds in it. We have, for quite a while, been offering split coriander. We call it cilantro because that's what you're going to grow it into. You can grow it into coriander, and I'll see if I can squeeze that into this, because I did grow some to seed in the garden. Anyway, so the splits germinate faster, and that's what we're using. So there you go. Each split has one seed in theory. They certainly do germinate faster. One of the most important things with growing cilantro microgreens is you have to ignore them adequately. Don't fuss. They do not want too much water. Too much water will kill them. I tried for years, literally years, to grow these. I don't know why I didn't figure it out, but I had to call a grower I know, a professional here in California, and they told me what I was missing, and that was less water. It had never gotten there, I fear to say. But here is the small stainless steel sprouter. It measures 6 inches across, and it is 1 3/4, even more than 1 3/4 inches deep. This is a mixed medium. It is coconut coir and earthworm castings, 75% coir, 25% earthworm castings, mixed together. And I fill the tray quite high, because the more root, the more medium is available, the more the plants can grow. They have more access to nutrients and water. So now we're just going to moisten the medium. It has been previously reconstituted, the coir, and there's a video of how to do that, but now we want to fully reconstitute it. Reconstitute is not the right word. So the goal here is totally saturated, but not puddling. So that is incredibly low for me. I almost always grow higher than that. I'm actually going to just try that and see how I do. Yes, indeed. So as long as the water's flowing through, you're doing great. If it starts backing up, that's too much water and it will need a little time to dry out. I think we're about right, but let me look at that again. Yeah, oops, tiny bit slow. So that's great. All right. How much seed do we use? I know where to find out. So on my handy dandy device here, I have a shortcut to my favorite website, sproutpeople.org. I go here. Oh, what am I thinking? I use the hamburger menu. I choose seeds. And I can choose microgreens in this case. I scroll to cilantro. And I click on that. And here's a nice picture and all this information about it. But what I want here is this drop down. It's got growing instructions, which are brief. I scroll to the detailed growing instructions because I want detail. That's where the answer is. There's more there. And soon there'll be a video tab there. Actually, by the time you see this, there will be. So detailed instructions done. And here it says planting. Let's see. Okay, a small stainless steel sprouter, 1 to 2 tablespoons of seed. It says so. I use this myself. I made these instructions, and yet, well, it's like my notepad. and it's there for you. So use it, for God's sakes. It's my life's work. I've put more into that than anything. 26 years so far. I'm going to use 1 tablespoon because I want to grow these to true leaves if possible. So you can grow, they're incredibly tasty as small cotyledon first leaves, only microgreens. But the true leaves are just like, they are cilantro-y. I mean, they taste the same, but it just looks really good in this case. And they're not that hard to get to. Most other crops are harder. So we want 1 tablespoon of cilantro, split cilantro. And I will spread it out. I will use my hand to finish spreading it out. And in spreading it out, you're just trying to spread them out. You don't have to be too precise. Do not worry about little things like this. Just spread them out. It'll be fine. I'm already too fussy. So now we've got this here. The reason I left the medium low was so I could put my plate on like this. Because when my medium's too high, I can't. I have to turn it upside down, and I don't prefer to do that. Just because I don't want the cats to flip it over or something. So now, it will sit here on the sprout area of the counter. We'll check back on that, but it can take several days for it to even germinate. We're not going to touch it, except to look at it. And just do not be tempted to water it. Do not be tempted to water it. Let it be. Look at all that germination. My. Wow, they germinate in a hurry. So that wasn't nearly as much patience as is required if you plant the whole seed. The split seed does germinate substantially faster. No, still, there's nothing to do. Just check it in on them. Let's see our big crop. Looking great. Looking great. Oh yeah, that is a nice crop. Doing great. Totally. Plenty of water. The plate. Dry. This can be a messy thing to a plate. So dedicated plates are good for this. This one does both things. So great. There it is. It's so hard to do nothing. Nothing to do. You are looking lovely. It's just a hodgepodge, isn't it? It's amazing what they do. And the seeds are facing every which way, so they send their roots every which way, and their plants are topsy-turvy looking. And in a matter of a couple days, we'll just have straight standing up plants. Just remarkable. But they need nothing. No water, no nothing. They stay covered. Looking lovely still. They need nothing. Look at that. Roots are coming through the bottom. That's impressive. Means they've grown all the way through the medium, so like 1.5 inches of medium, because this is 2 inches deep. And that's nice. They've got a good root structure already. That's a good thing. And there's still water coming out of it, so it really does not need anything. There's just no call for anything. So we're going to keep them covered until they're getting close to the top. Actually, I will invert the plate at this point, and we'll check back on them tomorrow. All right, definitely time to uncover. It's nighttime now, so not ideal, but still don't need anything. That's just no point in giving them more water at this point, so we'll just uncover them. Can I use that?
Sure.
So we're going to actually give this water this time. It's gotten lighter. So I don't know why I'm doing that. So all we're doing is the same thing. Well, actually, I'm sorry, I was making another video about grass growing, and I do this and that too. So just this bowl, or this plate rather, has a little recessed area, so it will hold a fair amount of water. The coir will take it up from beneath. I've moved the crop out to our tunnel entrance. Out the front of our entrance down there, there's a gate, so it's exposed to the outdoors. And sometimes it's warmer, sometimes it's cooler, depending on the time of year. There's also a skylight up above, and that generally keeps things equal. All right, this lighting is a bit much, but it's the best I can do for now, and I think you get the idea anyway. So here we are, and we're looking really nice, just progressing the way we want them to. Some in here as well, and I can tell there's still plenty of water in here, but there's room for more. So let's see, overflowing that area slightly, but with a little room. I like to maximize. All right. So I'm gonna just shift our daily visit to daytime. This has a really nice heft to it, but I am going, sorry, here's the experimental video look. So I'm just gonna put some water in there, and put this back on, and we'll see what it does. That's pretty much the limit for that. My Chester, what a good boy. He's my good boy. He's 15 now. Make the video better by being cute like that. Sorry, once again, I forgot to do this when it was brighter, but at least it's not dark. So it's our daily visit. We're about 24 hours later. The water has been absorbed, which is just what we want. So we're adding more. And things are growing along wonderfully. We're going to continue on for true seeds. Replenishing the water. It's got plenty of heft, but it's taking it in or it's evaporating. It's a sunny day. We're off to the garden, right, sheep? We gotta go gardening. There's stuff to do. You little old man. Look at this plant. This is a cilantro. This is one cilantro plant that grew from one seed. This whole thing right here, okay? Let's talk about cilantro. It's kind of a slow germinating seed, and we need to ignore it quite a lot as a microgreen. It doesn't want too much water. As a plant in the garden, it comes up looking like this. This is what you see when you have microgreens, are the first leaves, and then if you're lucky enough or you work hard enough, you get true leaves. When you're in the garden, of course, it's all true leaves that we're after because we let the plant grow bigger. So this is cilantro that is a few weeks old. Let's do our big tray. Growing nicely. It's again, looking for true leaves. These are harvestable and taste like cilantro. Look at that. Lovely. This is going very well. Full up. You still have water. Okay. I'm just gonna leave that. I think it's okay. There is conceivably a concern about being too wet, but my general belief is that since these are growing, they need to keep pulling water. And that's that. I do want them to get to true leaves, so maybe we'll foliar feed them at some point. Look at everybody, doing well, doing well. Crank up the water. Looking great. Let's see. I feel like true leaves are imminent. Great. We've got a little water left. I think we'll just leave. Well, yeah. The days pass. The crop grows. I forgot to do this while it was still light. It's dusk now. I think you can see okay. You're looking nice. I finally have to admit that I have been growing tiny ceramic pots with cilantro at the same time. I cut them out when editing as they made this video twice as long, if you can imagine such a thing. But there's no hiding it here, so now you know. The only difference in growing in the unglazed ceramic pots is that the pots wick moisture from the medium, so watering is essential and even happens a little bit earlier in the first few days. So I'm putting some water in the tray, in the bowl. That's more than I really want in the bowl. So just half an inch, and then I'm putting some under here again. And this time, take more. There we go. This time we're going to foliar feed. I have some kelp-enriched water. So this is a way to get plants some nutrients. We're feeding them through their leaves. They, of course, have the coconut coir with earthworm casting, so they do have nutrients to draw upon, but we're giving them a little extra push. Even the gentle misting does kind of mess them up a little, but they'll be standing up again tomorrow. Time to garden? You bet it is. But first, we're going to indoor garden. Got a little water under here, but we'll top that off. Just a little. Yeah, plenty of water in there. Still looking for true leaves. Totally edible crop and hardly any hulls, and tastes like cilantro. But the true leaves are so pretty. And they look like cilantro. That's all for cilantro today, and we'll check in on them again, as you know. Hi. So I forgot yesterday. I came out last night and realized I'd forgotten. We had a tree come down in a windstorm and I needed to deal with that. So life happens and your crops sometimes have to pay for that. So they wanted some water, so I gave it to them last night. And there's plenty of water left here. Got a good heft, it's still taking some up, I think. So hard not to eat you. If I have a recipe that needs cilantro and I don't have enough in the garden, I think I'm coming after you. Adding more water another day later. We're looking lovely still. Those true leaves are taking longer than I remember. Wait, I see somebody. Oh, God, I couldn't see that. I see a true leaf. It's right there. Today we're going to put in some kelp-enriched water on the bottom. Little boost for trying to get a little nutrition can't hurt. Trying to get wow. In our quest for true leaves, we are using some enriched water. We dilute at a rate of approximately 1 teaspoon per quart. I see there's a true leaf right there. I don't suppose you can see that, but there's another one right there. So we're getting close. More water. Don't feel too constrained by the number on the label when you come to diluting. Just making a mess of my plate. But these plates are specifically for sprouts, so there is some water still under there from yesterday. But now we're adding more with some liquid kelp. We'll see if they like that. They're not going to dislike it. I do have true leaves now, quite a few. Cilantro grows pretty well in cool weather. It's something I can grow in the garden year-round here in San Francisco, though it's certainly slow to grow in the autumn and winter. The fact is, the hotter it is, the faster it's going to grow. So if you have a setup that has lights that are close to the trays, a seed starting kind of setup, or just a grow light, you could grow these you could move them to that as soon as they put plants up, and that would keep them from getting quite so leggy. I think that would have really shown well in the little pots, but that's an option if you have that set up. I don't, but I have this nice outside that gets a little more light, so it's really the same as being indoors in a well-lighted room, but it's cool now. I mean, we're getting into the 50s at night. It's cool in San Francisco for November, even into the high 40s at times. But that certainly affects the crop. But there you go, options if you have them. I've wanted a seed starting setup for years. I mean, when we were sprout growers, I had it all. I had a 400 square foot room with 4 racks. I'll make a video of this sometimes. I have old footage. Hi. Welcome to the Sprout People's Sprout Factory. I grew 1,500 pounds of sprouts every week on those racks. So it was easy to start vegetables. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to garden when I was growing that many sprouts. My gardening just went away for decades. But that's the story. So if you have that set up, feel free to use it. Back with more kelp-enriched water. Why I show you this exact thing every day, I don't know. It makes editing a video much more work than it needs to be. So yes, I'm doing the same thing every day, adding water, because the crop's so big, it's going to need water to continue growing. And though the coir holds water, I don't want it to ever reach a point of being dry, because that will possibly stunt the plants. And since we're shooting for true leaves in this case, I'm just giving it everyday water. So, excuse me, please, if my zeal to show how to do this is just too boring for you. If you're new to it, it's great to see exactly what's going on every day, and it's essential. We've always felt it was essential for new growers, sprouts or microgreens, to have success so that they continue growing, because it's an easy thing for people to just say, oh, it doesn't work, and give up, and that's just not good, because growing your own food is a wonderful thing. Okay, we're back. These are growing along very well. Just adding more kelp-enriched water. Room for more. Excellent. That drains it. True leaves are coming. Same thing today. The true leaves are truly coming. Oops, got a little left, but I want to keep fertilizing, because I want these to happen sooner than later. Get all those cilantro leaves. More kelp water. Taking it up every day. Just want to be clear that this gap is only because they're so heavy that they're moving to one side or the other. Kelp-enriched water. We have a lot of true leaves. Really, any time would be fine. I'm just taking this to how far I can take it and see what I get. Really, just taking it up every day. It's amazing. I will reiterate, you can harvest these at any time, starting like what, 2 months ago? I don't know, how long have we been doing this? You don't need the true leaves. As soon as they're a couple inches tall, an inch tall, whenever you want them, they taste like cilantro. So many true leaves. But I'm gonna, once again, fill the reservoir, as it were. Ooh, my goodness, it almost drank that up immediately. I whipped up a little more water because that just was almost just taken in. That's seems to be really absorbing now. There we go. There's our crop. I'll just keep going a little bit. Let's see. But just beautiful. True leaves everywhere. I just keep pushing. Once again. Nice and full. All right, one more day I've decided. See if that holds out. Still just absorbing all this liquid. All right. Tomorrow we're cutting you down. You're full of true leaves. I don't really know why I'm going any further. But we work today and it'll be more convenient to do tomorrow. Tonight I have to write a newsletter and there's much to be done. So, see you tomorrow with scissors in hand. Okay, we're harvesting today. Just grab a handful and get your scissors down close to the medium and snip. Any scissors will do. These are very tender. They smell so good. Well, if you like cilantro. We do. Nice. So putting them in a bowl where I'm weighing them. I have a few. These are just stems. I could have gotten those too. So here they are, and they weighed in at 47 grams, which is 10 to 1. That's a good return. I always expect 3 to 1, so that's 3 times better and then some. Compulsive composter. So this will just come out. This is going into our garden compost because that's just nice stuff. The coir and the little roots. That's that. And cleaning, we'll scrape the roots off. This will also go to the garden. And then we're just washing with soap and water. The fragrance is just remarkable. Just fresh cilantro. Great. I don't know how anybody survives without cilantro. Honestly. Great. The water is making too much noise. Putting some soap on this. Also use brushes. And since we have a screen, I will it's not strictly necessary. Couple little root pieces. Now that looks darn clean to me. We'll actually go with a brush around the rim. Just that little lip in case anything is caught there. We don't see anything. All right. We're ready. Nothing stuck under the little lip there where the screen attaches to the side. Looks great, and it's time to start something else. You're ready to go. I seriously hope you enjoyed growing cilantro microgreens, and I want to reiterate that these could have been cut ages ago. They don't need to show true leaves. I just wanted them to do that. And the weather was not perfect for that. It's been quite cool here, and though cilantro likes cool weather, it would grow faster in warm weather. So there you go. You don't count the days and assume it's going to be exactly the same, because climate will vary the way the crop produces. But it's a general guideline as to how many days it took us to get here. And like I say, results will vary slightly for you, but you've got the method now. You're good to go. Happy sprouting, happy growing.